would like to request Mr. Prasad Yadav, Director Global Sourcing, Vesuvius. With over 25 years of expertise, a proven track record in global sourcing and quality, along with proficiency in business development, supplier development, sustainability, and market intelligence. His experience spans over diverse industry, including oil and gas, energy, Schneider, GE, Vernova, automotive, that is Tata Motors, engineering, Honeywell, GE. Currently working with Vesuvius, which is driving steel and metal flow services industry globally. As an RCA leader, auditor, Six Sigma Black Belt, Lean and NDT level, III professional, demonstrated strong supply chain and organizational skills, specializing in strategic sourcing, risk assessment, and operational excellence. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Prasad Yadav?
Very good afternoon. After having a heavy lunch, so I will try to make sure that, okay, everybody will be awake and listen to me carefully. I know this topic is very interesting. As we are doing the procurement, insourcing and outsourcing is always a part of our decision-making activities, what we do. But today, I'll just touch base. When we say insourcing, whatever we are manufacturing in-house, or whatever the resources which we have, how we are utilizing them to produce the parts, right? Or the services what we are providing to the customers. Outsourcing, the same activities when we plan to outsource or utilize the third-party agencies to perform that activity, becomes the outsourcing. Now, when we look at when we go with insourcing and when we go with outsourcing, when you look at that question, then definitely there are certain factors always comes in our mind. First is how we can control the product or the processes which we are manufacturing, what we deliver to the customer in terms of their requirements. Then it is important that, okay, how we can make sure that these are within our control phase. That's the first and foremost point which comes in our mind. Second is, as we can see today's scenario, intellectual property is the second important aspect where we want to keep our technical and or the technical requirements or specifications within our limited areas or our scope. In that case, that the second important factor comes as the IP, how we can control that. That is nothing but how we can keep that specialization within our limits or our control. Third is when we look at the reach, depends on what kind of products we are manufacturing. If it is a niche market or it is the generic market requirements, then it comes as, okay, whether we will do in-house or we'll go with the third-party agency which can produce in the large scale, right? There are certain things which already there on the slide, but okay, I don't want to go through that. But these are the aspects which always a part of our decision-making, as everybody is a procurement leader or hero. Someone was talking about hero, so hero and heroines are there. So definitely they know how it is inbound and outsourcing point of view. But when it comes to the statistics, as everybody was talking about data intelligence, AI, which is playing a vital role for making decisions, right? So this is the Deloitte's analysis where we can say more than the half of the companies which we are looking for the cost as the main factor to reduce the product cost completely. Second is about how we can improve the skills or the expansion of the products across, or scalability, improving the scalability of that. Then capability improvement, that's the third parameter. But there are different aspects also. But when we look at the detailed analysis of our manufacturing process itself, then we realize that some of the processes may not be critical in terms of the operations, which can be offloaded. Now, one of the classical examples is if we have machining supplier, the cutting of the bars, if they are producing some automotive component which is maybe 1 or 2 meters in length, then probably when they are getting the raw material from the steel mill or the raw material dealer or trader itself, they will say, okay, this is my requirement, please cut and give it to me. That's nothing but we are offloading one of the operation which is not critical in nature to the outside of the company. So this is the one of the area. So when we look at the, there are certain aspects are also there, how we can improve the competency level of our own people. When we see advancement of the technology, we have already machine setups or the equipments as well as the technical expertise in-house. But when we look at the software industry, they are evolving monthly, because the tools which we were using almost a year back, now probably they were not forcefully used by the people. There are new things are coming up. Similarly, in the manufacturing as well, when you look at, there are different technologies are coming up in terms of the manufacturing standpoint. So that definitely helps how we can approach the third-party supplier who can utilize the new technology for manufacturing the products. Cost is always there. Next is the flexibility. When we see flexibility is nothing but if one supplier is not capable or he may not fulfilling our requirement, then probably we can immediately switch to another. So that flexibility probably we can able to get through. Last is the competitive benchmarking. Today's scenario, if you see, the cost is always a driving factor when we look at the capturing the market, as well as the how we can improve our market scenarios across. So in that case, how we can reduce the cost, that is but giving the quality which is required to the customer, that is definitely important. I think when we look at the benefits or each an inbound or outbound, I already talked about that, probably I will not go through that, but here I want to talk about a case study. As the oil and gas industry worked almost 14 years, definitely I will not give the right figures, but relatively comparable figures as well in my case study. The data which I am showing is not proprietary data, so definitely it will be available. I want to talk about drill bits. When you look at the oil and gas industry, drill bits is the important, consumable or important piece which helps to minimize the cycle time of the rigs preparation for any service provider. And that's the reason today's scenario, if you look at who are having the efficient, sustainable and the faster drilling operations, then always the customers like BP or Shell, they always try to go with that particular play. So that's the reason I just choose drill bits as the case study here. How insourcing to outsourcing it is evolved in long run. When you look at the history of this particular product, definitely initially it was the speed and everything as manufacturing always within the premises of the OEMs. Those are producing it. The reason being is the special processes which they will want to be within their controls first. Second is the criticality of this particular operation, because this product is goes under the extreme environmental or the operational conditions. And that's the reason the vendors or the manufacturers always wants to keep this particular product within their control when they are manufacturing. When we see how it is moved out, and as rightly mentioned, one of the example of machining, those are the processes, those are not critical in nature, probably how we can outsource it. So shank was the part which they used to see that, okay, this is not critical in nature, can we offload or outside? So when we look at the activities, probably in 2001, they already started giving that particular part as a forging and pre-machining. not the finished machining, just raw machining outside. That's the first phase, and that too after almost 75 years of the operations which they were doing in-house. Right? That's the first phase. And that's the reason when you see outsource adjustments, updations have started going through that. Second piece is when we do the one shank, then how we can use the suppliers to assemble the parts which are not critical in nature on it, like carbide tools, as well as when we say polycrystalline diamond concept, which has come up now into the drilling operation. This particular activity, which is very critical in nature, they don't want to give outside. So it's always in their premises, with the like you name it at Schlumberger, Halliburton, or Baker Hughes. They always keep in their own premises. Whenever the customer also comes in, they never allowed them to go and see that particular operation, because that critical in nature, because that is a trademark for them, right? Next is that's the reason IP protection is very critical for them. Then technology adjustments, when we look at that, today if you look at 3D, AI, we were talking about artificial intelligence in the previous discussion as well. These are the things which are coming into the operations for identifying the performance of these particular tools when it runs in the well, right? So what I explained till now, probably you can see in the chart wise as well. When we started in 2000, there were 0 vendors. Now, 2010, there were 4. But definitely, the users or the parts which is outsourced was 25. When you look at the journey, now you can see the suppliers has been reduced. The reason being it's consolidation of the parts within a few suppliers. That is always necessary to consolidate at one and get the more profitability. This is also a strategic decision which we can see from the procurement side, right? When I conclude here, there are few aspects and which I want to put in front of this particular forum as well. One is the competency level of the people. Second is the raw material availability within India, or to expand these particular critical operations in India. Third and most important aspect is deliverables. When we manufacture these parts, how we can able to deliver to the customer within the specified time span for them. So when we look at when we need to have the outsourcing activity, today also drill bits is one of the critical component. We could not able to get or manufacture completely in India today. The reason being is that the 3 aspects which I talked about, technical competency level. Today, if you see, India is the youngest country globally. But when you look at the young generation which is coming out of the engineering colleges or the technical institutes, we always see that the mark sheet shows very fantastic in terms of the results. But when we start drilling down them into the technical expertise standpoint, then we understood that, okay, they don't know much in depth understanding about the manufacturing processes or whatever they learned in the institute. Probably it's our responsibility somewhere that how we can pass on the technical expertise or knowledge from the industry into the curriculum somewhere. I think that is the one area where I thought, okay, I can put this point forward during this conference. And probably I will conclude here with that. Thank you. Any questions, comments, any points? I know it's heavy lunch.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prasad. And to do the honors, I would like to call Mr. Sachin Apte from Wellspin Group.